Hey guys, this is Abe, and welcome to our weekly outlook for the week of 9/11/2022. This week, I will not be looking at the earning calendar as we don't have anything of significance. I will, however, be looking at the economic calendar as it's an important one. This week's important events will start with Tuesday, where the CPI and the core CPI numbers will be released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. For those who don't know, the CPI, it stands for Consumer Price Index, and it measures the change in price of goods and services from the perspective of the consumer. It is a key way to measure the changes in purchasing trends and inflation. The core CPI, on the other hand, it does the same thing except that it excludes food and energy. However, for us, from the perspective of consumers, we obviously are concerned with food and energy prices. Without like basically the core CPI. The consensus for this month, if you can see, it's showing a 6.1 for the core CPI year over year, which is actually an increase from last month's numbers. And it shows a 0.3% for the month over month, also for the core CPI, which is the same as July, so it's pretty much a steady increase. The CPI, on the other hand, is showing a reduction of 0.1% from last month and a 8.1% for the year over year, which is actually a reduction from um the previous report. On Wednesday, we have the PPI and the core PPI for month over month for August. And PPI is the Producer Price Index, which measures the change in the price of goods sold by manufacturers, and the core PPI excludes the prices of foods and energy. The consensus is showing a 0.3% increase for the core PPI for the month over month and a reduction of 0.1% for the PPI month over month. We also have crude oil inventory numbers will be released at 10:30 a.m. On Thursday, we have the core retail sale numbers for month over month and the retail sales, as well as the initial jobless claims. But the main event that we have this week is going to be on Tuesday. That's what most investors are looking at in anticipation of what the FOMC or what the Feds will be deciding in this upcoming FOMC meeting. In my humble opinion, I think the consensus numbers for this month will easily be met or beat since we've had a reduction in oil prices in the past month by a little over 9% based on the price of light crude oil. And despite the high possibility, in my opinion, that the numbers will be met or even beat for CPI, I read several articles that it appears that major lenders such as Goldman Sachs are predicting an increase of 0.75 percent of a point in September, which would mean that the market is probably already pricing for that. So next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look here at the chart for ES and for SPY. Looking here at last week, we broke over the level of 4017, which we said that it was going to be a key level over here, and we hit the first target of 4043, and then upwards of this target over here at 4074. And we actually broke and held above it. And today, Sunday, during the Globex session, we actually opened with a gap up. We came back here and we are filling this gap as we speak right now. However, it seems that the price is holding up so far. So um, the plan for a day like tomorrow, I think we still have a really good chance of coming up here and touching upwards of 4111 or so, and probably even breaking above that. If we don't break above that, and we reject, we definitely, uh, for like the bull case, I would say, we definitely want to see the price to remain over this red line over here because a break below it, and let's just say a break below this yellow trend line that you see, will probably assure somewhat of a sell-off. Now, we're gonna play it one day at a time. I will not be holding any positions overnight from Monday into Tuesday, just for the possible volatility that could happen or that could be caused by the CPI numbers. And I would I would say, if you're trying to trade that type of an economic event, it's somewhat of a gamble, just like an earning report. You know, we are we are, let's just say, expecting a push perhaps, but then again, they could actually have a sell-off right after that happens. Now, one thing I want to point out over here is that I'm going to go ahead and show the DEX chart for Friday. And if you're not sure what this chart is and how to trade it, you can go ahead and look at my previous video. And for my Discord members, we have that in the Traditex tool section where you can go ahead and watch that video. But we actually see that for Friday, we closed with a green bar, which means that the sum for cumulative delta for today was positive. And as a matter of fact, it's a decent sized bar too. So this tells us that the possibility that we will have a green day on the next trading day is higher. Obviously, it's not a guarantee, but based on the flow that they measure the cumulative, they measure the sum for cumulative delta, and it's coming up to be green. Now, for the bearish side here, to go back to the chart and say, okay, well, what's going to happen tomorrow? For me, I would like for me to be able to go probably short. I want to say if we don't hold this level over here of 40-50 or 40-40 area, if we break below it, there is a good chance that we can come back and test this 4,000 area. But the area between where we at right now and this 40-50 kind of, will be a tricky area to trade. I mean, you could probably scalp it, but I wouldn't try to take a position on it. I also would advise not to fight the trend. Um, One thing I want to also share over here is that looking at the flow for the next 30 days or so, I kind of arranged it for SPY. I kind of arranged it by date, based on the expiration date. So you're starting here with 916 all the way down to um, probably around the ends of October, but I'm concerned more with this 10/21 expiration date seems to be a very interesting one. And I also filtered it by $1 million in premium, anything over $1 million. I didn't want to see anything less than that. And I noticed that there was a lot of calls over here. These are in the money, or most of them are in the money. Some are out of the money for the month of September, towards the end of the month of September. And for October, we see a very large amount of puts going in into October to October 21st, which, like I said, mainly that's the expiration date that seems to be of interest, and going all the way to the end of October. And these are really large orders, and as you guys can see over here, for the most part, you would see some that are above ask, or at ask, which means that, they're trying to get into that. However, I would take that with a grain of salt because we have seen that in the past in July, we've seen that in August, buying into September, and if you would look at the chart, for the month of July, we had like a major, you know, for July, it was a major rip, and anybody that was trying to fight the trend pretty much, lost. I mean, this is basically, your month of July over here. We had like after July, we had this major rip going all the way upwards of 4,300, and of course, then when we have that pullback over here. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to the SPY chart because it's a little bit cleaner than what you see here on ES, and I don't want to confuse anybody. So again, when we look at SPY, it looks a little bit different because obviously it doesn't capture the overnight moves that ES has during the Globex session. And when we look at it, we see that we have this descending broadening formation or descending wedge, you can call it, and a break outside of this one over here. Let's just say a break above this maybe 407.68 area, which is a high Friday, could probably trigger a move to the upside upwards of 410 or 411. And again, with the cumulative delta information that we have, it's reasonable to think that could happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually had a gap up tomorrow on Monday, or if we have just a little bit of a sell-off to reverse right away and break right through it. But I would definitely wait for the break above this blue line, the break and hold above this blue trend line over here. And from there, my next target up would be about 410, 411. And one thing I would like to mention now is that starting this week, I will start trading the DEX strategy. Of course, I will be looking at levels. I'm not going to be taking it randomly, taking calls or puts based off of the cumulative delta. However, I will be, quote unquote, trading this strategy, and I will start making some videos to update on this strategy for the hold and what the potential wins and losses on this strategy will be. But again, to get back here to the chart, we're looking at perhaps the break above this area over here at around 407.5, I would say. That could more than likely be right above this blue line over here. And if that happens, I could start, trimming somewhere around 410, which is about a $3 move, very decent. Not sure if we will continue just because this is the day pre, you know, before the CPI, which, that's when I would think that, some of the major move might happen or the beginning of a movement might happen. If I had to think, I would say, if I want to predict like what would the market do, I think there is a really good chance for us to probably continue reach upwards of at least around $415 on SPY. And from there, this area is going to be kind of like a scary area. As you guys can see over here, there's this downtrend line that we have respected, two times that we've had major sell-offs from this trend line over here from this resistance. And so could we possibly reach this area over here and break again? Very possible. I would feel very comfortable, I would say, if we reach this area over here to take a strong put and like a good size position probably and swing it for some time because the risk to reward on it is going to be great. However, I'm not gonna try to fight the trend. Again, if we see a break and we look at the market net flow and we see that the market net flow is showing a bullish move, we'll take it. But then again, I will probably not hold for the entirety of the day, just like the DEX strategy suggests. I'll probably start trimming based off of levels and securing profit obviously is the most important thing. But we will definitely combine our technical analysis along with the market net flow as well as the DEX strategy in trading SPY. Now, as far as to the downside here on SPY, like I said before on ES, I probably would want to see a hold. I'm sorry, a break below this area over here of around I would say like 40, 50 or so, which would probably translate for SPY at around 405. But again, I always watch ES when I trade SPY, so I don't really look at the SPY chart as much as I look at ES over here. But if it breaks here, if it breaks this level, I probably would take a stab at it to short it probably somewhere not very, not a very long period, probably just down to here because this is going to be a very strong support. Definitely, if you're a bull, you don't want to see it break in this level over here because if it does, then you'll have like somewhat of a spiral coming down here where 3980 or 3990 area, and then from there probably all the way to 3950, and it might even come down and touch this area over here of 3920. But in the meantime, just seeing how much we have in bearish sentiment here for October, I'm sorry. Uh, I mean, I'm still thinking honestly that this kind of bearish market squeeze is probably not done yet, even though I was kind of saying before that, okay, maybe at this level it might be worth taking a short at it, but then we saw that the price actually broke right through it. It was very strong. The flow was very strong for today. I just thought, why would I try to trade against the trend, So I actually try to take a long over here at this level. But as long as we're holding above this level over here, these are my targets. First one is at around 41.11 or 41.12, and the next one up is going to be somewhere about 41.50. I probably should go ahead and add a line up here. for the 4150 or 4145 area. So that would be my first target up if we break above this level. And um, then from there, we probably will see upwards of 4173 or so, and maybe upwards of 4200. This will definitely be a strong level to break over here to 4200, with it being a whole number. And we've seen in the past here where the price rejected and we had a sell-off from that area. So kind of be careful whenever you're looking at it. I try to look at the dark pool density chart here for SPY, and I will share it with you guys here in a second. I seen like one dark pool print and just some large blocks over here. Let me go ahead and just switch it to the SPY chart because it's a little bit cleaner. And I'm gonna go ahead and add that chart. As you guys can see over here, we've had a decent print over here at around 405, and we kind of broke a little bit above over here in this area previously, as you guys can see, but I'm not totally I'm not gonna say this is gonna be an usher for a sell-off from this area or a takeoff from this area. I'm just going to be taking it one level at a time. As I said, if we break above here, chances are these are going to be my targets. I'm gonna go ahead and change them to actually reflect these white lines rather than these boxes. And it's just because resistances and supports are zones. They're not exactly set numbers, but these would be uh, good targets to the upside if we break above this fallen wedge or fallen broadening formation, whichever way you want to call it. And if we get upwards of this level, which if you want to think about it, the price is not going to be moving in a straight line, probably is going to be moving like this thing, like this movement here, staircase of some sort. If we get to this area, yeah, like I said, I will be definitely more interested in trying to short, maybe a long-term short on it, taking something that's probably a month out or a little more than a month out with out of the money strike price. Because if this rejects over here, the downside potential for it is going to be massive. Now, if this happened and the price drops down to around this area where you guys can see this pink line over here of this kind of like a support area, if this breaks from the 397, you probably have another 10-point drop here on SPY down to this area, to this support, but this support is going to be a key one, or this area, let's just call it this zone. The price rejected from it a couple of times, and we've seen some buying from that area. And if that breaks, you will have a very nice downside, probably all the way down to somewhere about 380, and from there at around 372. So that in a nutshell, what I see here for SPY for the immediate future. Again, I will be playing it one day at a time, and I will be looking at the levels one day at a time. Don't be one of these people that would hold and hope, because that's not how you should be trading. Um, just take it one level at a time, secure your profits. Small profits add up, and holding and hoping uh, does not make you money. And so um, on a day like Tuesday, obviously, I will wait after the numbers come up and we'll see what happens. And we will look at our market net flow, and we'll be looking at the cumulative delta chart, and we'll see how things go. Now, I kind of like to always look at the dollar index, DXY. And as you guys can see over here, when we talked about it the last video, we said that we broke this uptrend channel over here, that we have higher highs, higher lows in it, and we broke below it, and we started making lower lows right now at this point. So today in the Globex session, we actually opened with a gap down. We dropped a little bit and moved right back up. and probably it's filling the gap right now. This is going to be our key zone right now to the downside. If we break below it at the 108.37 or so, chances are we will come down and fill this entire wick over here, all the way down to 107.624. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on, and if that actually happened, you more than likely, with the drop of the dollar index, we would see a move to the upside on ES over here. And so dollar index is going to be one of those things that will move, violently around CPI numbers and the FOMC meetings, and so will gold as well. Obviously, gold and the dollar index should be moving in opposite directions. That's not always going to be the case, but that's what would make sense. You buy gold, you sell dollar, you buy dollar, you sell gold, and so on. But with the DXY dropping down to these levels, if that's what's going to happen, then I expect that we continue on the move to the upside and reach probably upwards of at least this area over here on ES at around 41.73. So that's all for me for tonight. I didn't go ahead and look at any other charts or any other stocks. I will start sharing these ideas in the chart and idea tab with the team members. If you are watching us for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to join us in our Discord to trade daily with us live, the link will be in the description, and we have a special going on where the first month is on us. Just join the Discord. You'll see the details in the Discord where you get a first month for free to try it out and be part of like-minded individual groups like the one that we have here, and hopefully you would like it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening.